Grace and Grit organization. I am so delighted that you are here to join me tonight. I'm hoping that some of my other cohorts come on this. As soon as I see them come on, I would love, like Kim Bain, if you come back on, I would love for you to share this with the Grace and Grit studio. That's what I am struggling with a little bit here. So we want to just make sure we're sharing this video. There we go. Okay, who do we have? Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. We want to make sure we're sharing this, if possible, with the Grace and Grit studio. In order to make sure that the people over there are seeing it. But I know we're live on YouTube, and I know we're live on my business page. So every single Monday, usually I have my little helper of Janine George, Villano George here to interview me, but she's not feeling well. So I am here all by myself tonight, and I'm going to just pretend as if she's here, and I'm going to answer 4 questions for you. 4 questions that may help you determine whether or not Park Lane is for you. And the 4 questions are going to be, especially if you're a note taker, why direct sales, why jewelry, why Park Lane jewelry, and why now? So let me just tell you real quick, when somebody asks me, Mary Grace, why direct sales? The first thing I always want to do is to make sure that they understand what direct sales is. And I'm not like criticizing, because I did not. Like if someone had said when I was looking into this that it was called direct sales, I may have balked at it. I might have thought, oh no, and we really hear those questions like, is that one of those pyramid schemes and all that stuff? And no, it absolutely is not. My understanding is that a pyramid scheme is where people at the top make money and people at the bottom do not. And no, you start making income immediately when you come into Park Lane. And people like me just serve as mentors and trainers and people that are going to help you do better. So what is direct sales? Really, direct sales means direct to consumer. And in today's world, it is a super popular way to shop because so many people are kind of tired of just the whole online thing, but they're also not quite delighted with the idea of going into a store. If you've been into any of the malls lately, they just look a little barren. They don't necessarily have a lot to choose from, all the sizes that you want and stuff. So how wonderful in direct sales that we have a liaison, us, fashion directors, that are go-betweens between you and between the customer and the product. My favorite story ever about direct sales, I share it every single week just in the hopes that other people will hear it, because it really did change my life, is I was reading this book. I really believe in keeping up on personal development and education. And I was reading this book called The Automatic Millionaire. The Automatic Millionaire. And in The Automatic Millionaire, there is the gentleman who wrote it is named David Bach. And he wrote this book about how everyday normal people like you and I can become millionaires in a very short time, like over the course of a decade, by simply learning how to invest. And the number that he came up with that would get people there very quickly is investing about $300 to $500 a month. Now, David Bach opened his own financial company, and he was extremely excited to tell people about this plan that he had because he knew it would be so life-changing. Well, as David says on this video it was an audio tape, if you can believe it. It was that long ago. But what he pointed out was that he found that we had a way bigger problem here in the United States of America, probably across the world, but he was in the United States of America. And he said that problem is that people didn't have readily $300 to $500 a month to invest. They were not only living paycheck to paycheck, it was worse than that. They were living beyond paycheck to paycheck. They were every month having more month than they did money, and putting things like on credit cards to help them get to the next month. And if they ever did come up with an extra $300 to $500 a month, people were very clear in how they would spend it. They would spend it to either pay down their debt, they would spend it to go on a special vacation, or they might spend it they might save it in case of an emergency, like their furnace going out or something. So then David Bach made it his mission that he was going to find a way that people could make extra income without totally unbalancing their life. Because he thought that when he first talked to people about options, it would come down to complete career choices. Maybe somebody who had decided to stay home with kids, having to go back to work full time. maybe people having to work 2 full-time jobs or a part-time job where they had to be where they needed to be when someone else told them to be there. And David Bach actually said, with like a total amazement, he goes, and that's when I discovered direct sales. And he said he felt like it was like the treasure of the world. Like he couldn't believe that he came across it. And he said, direct sales is all of the benefits of running your own business with none of the overhead. Any objection that people had about taking on a second gig could be addressed in direct sales. Now, this doesn't just go for whether or not you want to come up with money to invest. This comes up with if you just want to come up with extraneous money for things like I did in the beginning. I wanted to take some pressure off my husband, and I wanted to be able to pay for our groceries. So I thought, I'm going to try direct sales. And the benefits are we get to decide if we're going to work, when we're going to work, how long we can work, what hours we're going to work. We can decide when we're taking off. We can decide when we're back on. And really, bottom line, at a much better rate than minimum wage, which is usually what people would take on with a side hustle. So why jewelry? Let's say you decide, I'm going to try this direct sales thing. It sounds pretty fascinating. But why would I represent jewelry when there's so many other products to represent? Now, I was one of those people who used to say things like, who would ever sell jewelry? I used to sell candles. I worked for another company. And Park Lane, I'm going to digress a little bit here because we are going to talk more about Park Lane. But Park Lane, to my knowledge, is the only direct sales company that actually recognizes experience. They recognize what you went through in order to achieve what you did at your other company. And they are willing to hire you in or bring you in at a level that's commensurate with what you have achieved in another company. So when I came to Park Lane, I was interested in what the advantages, or before I did, interested in what the advantages were of selling jewelry. Well, this is a fun story, and it goes all the way back to the Levines. And the Levines are the owners of Park Lane Jewelry. They knew that they wanted to start a direct sales company back in 1955. They had the model all chosen. They wanted something where they could help families create wealth, not just their own family, but other families, like down the line, my family, to create wealth. And they knew that they wanted to use other people's living rooms as their showroom, like the direct sales model at that time. Today we do mostly bunches of stuff online, but in those days it was mostly in-home show. What they didn't know was what product they wanted to represent. But they were extremely smart in this decision. And what they did is they hired 3 separate consultants from 3 separate consulting companies. And they said to these gentlemen at the time, I'm sure it was gentlemen at the time, they said to them, we want you to go out into the world and do your research. We want you to come back and recommend to us your top 3 product choices and be prepared to defend your answers. And that's the way that it went. And all 3 consultants went out into the world. They came back separately to give their top choices. And much to the Levines' unbelievable shock, they all had jewelry as number 1 across the board. It was just their shock because that was not what was in their minds. Now their second and third choices varied, but their first choice was jewelry. And I'm going to tell you why the consultants defended these answers and why it's still so wonderful to represent a jewelry company today. Okay, first of all, you're looking at me. I am wearing my product. It is amazing as a salesperson to wear our product. It is so easy to be out and about or on video and have people ask about what we have on. And it is such a non-threatening, non-in-your-face way when you can just say, oh my gosh, that makes me so happy that you love this. I'm in the jewelry business. It is a great segue into sharing with people what we do. Not only do we wear our jewelry, but our customers wear our jewelry. So it's wonderful because they're doing the same thing. They're recommending people or referring people back to us because they want the customer to know where they got it, and they want them to be able to share the good deals that we can give. I want you to realize too and think about, because this is stuff I didn't think about, the market. Like jewelry has been in since time immemorial. Way in the BC days, when we look at old-fashioned movies about the times of Moses or whatever, people are wearing decorative accessories. Jewelry's been around since then, and yet it's forecasted to go up, up, up in popularity in the next 10 years. It's not going anywhere. Not only has it been around, it withstands the test of time, but the market to whom we sell is never ending. Almost every single individual in the world has heard of or wears jewelry. And it appeals to both men and women, everything in between, and all the different ages. And it's one of the number one gifts in the world, candy, flowers, and jewelry. So these are all really super cool reasons to represent a jewelry line. It's very inexpensive to ship in store. When we want to send something to a customer, I mean, Park Lane does most of it for us, but when we want to send something to a customer, then it just goes in a little padded envelope and out it goes for a few dollars. So in very little space in our house, and we can walk around with a bag the size of our purse and take our jewelry anywhere that people want to see it, or it doesn't take up much space in our home when we want to show it online. So many different advantages to representing jewelry. Now, why Park Lane Jewelry? Because believe it or not, there are other jewelry companies in direct sales. And I'm going to tell you why I chose Park Lane. Okay. At the very time that I was offered the Park Lane opportunity, I had also been offered, coincidentally, a staff position with another direct sales jewelry company. And I, have so much admiration for all of the direct sales companies. But at that time, I really had a decision to make. Did I want to go with Park Lane, or did I want to go with this other company? And I'm going to tell you why I chose Park Lane. One thing is just the line. We are the only direct sales full service jewelry company. And you'll know what I'm talking about once I start to say it, because most people have a niche market. Maybe they're silver, maybe they're charms, maybe they're pearls. So you're probably, or maybe they're just crystals or Swarovski crystals. You're getting the idea here. Here at Park Lane, we have something for everyone. And I can tell you with full confidence that my customers have said it to me, that they absolutely love that no matter who they invite to check out our line, there is something for everyone, because we cover all of the aforementioned and more, and we are always completely on trend. We've been around since 1955. Now, I mentioned that earlier. The beauty in that is we have been around so long that we have survived all kinds of different obstacles. We didn't even miss a beat during the COVID season because we'd already been through so much. This company is cash rich, which means, and debt free. So they pay for everything with cash. Now, as a representative of this company, I'm so grateful for that, because I know I'm going to get paid every week. And yes, we get paid every week. But I also know that we get first dibs at so many wonderful things. Baby, the best fashion designers out there, the best chain houses, the best stones, because they are going to come to Park Lane because they know that they're going to get paid, and they're going to get paid in cash. So it gives us a lot of buying power. Now, I also chose Park Lane because of its richest programs. We have an unparalleled customer sale where it's buy any 2 items for regular price, get any 4 for half. Your 2 regular price should be your least expensive. Now, not only is this a wonderful deal to offer to customers and they love it, but it's also something that's super easy to repeat. And you got to admit, we got it in our DNA sometimes to share a sale. I've literally been in a store before and seen a really good sale and thought, oh my gosh, who can I call and know about this, right? Well, that's the beauty of a really powerful sale. So people that hear about our sale, they utilize the sale and they repeat the sale to their friends and family, and they're excited to share the sale with their friends and family, which allows them to become hostesses. And hostesses are people who simply bring their friends and family to us in a big group. It can be, or a little group. It can be online. It can be personal appointments. It can be around at a wine bar, in a coffee shop. It can be a Zoom. It can be a Facebook. It could be an in-home show. The possibilities are absolutely endless. But the individual who brings us all together, Park Lane rewards them extremely generously with free product. The way I like to say this is, if you see a brand, if you see a perfume shown in Macy's, okay, they are paying Macy's overhead to use that space. It's kind of like we pay our hostesses overhead for just bringing people into the store. And we do it, again, with free product. And Park Lane's is based on the number of orders. So regardless of how much somebody spends, Park Lane will give the hostess $20 free per order. And when she or he gets to 10 orders, they double it. Then it's $40 free per order. Now, my favorite thing to point out in all of this, you guys, is I'll say to someone, don't you think between the two of us, we could collect 10 $30 orders? And they'll say, yeah, sure. Now, I want you to think about that. That's a $300 sale for Park Lane, a $300 sale for me, and yet you as the hostess are going to get 40 times 10, $400 worth of free jewelry. And I'm not even finished yet because there's 5 other categories from which they get to choose, including half price items, including thank you gifts for a really minimal price. It's crazy. Our average hostess gets anywhere from $300 to $1,000 in free jewelry for your discounted jewelry. And we're the most generous in the industry of direct sales. Other people just can't afford to do what we do because of when I mentioned the cash free and cash and debt free and cash rich and all that great stuff, okay? So very generous. And can I just tell you real quick, I already mentioned it, but do we want people out in the world wearing a little bit of our jewelry or a lot of our jewelry? We want them wearing a lot of our jewelry so it's getting all kinds of attention from all kinds of different people. And how remarkable is that between our sale and our hostess program, everyone who comes across Park Lane is most likely going to have far more than one piece when they get done with that show. And then the profit program. We are the highest paid reps in the industry. In fact, I don't know, I can remember cartoons used to do this thing where, let's say, I'm going to age myself, but some rivals, one would open a gas station and then one would open a gas station on the other side of the street. And they were competing with each other. So they kept lowering the price, right? Well, when Park Lane came on board in 1955, we started our reps at 30%. That had never been done before, and it forced other people to up their game. Even today, most people start at 20% when they are doing a direct sales company. So we start our people at 30% with the ability to work up to 50%. Now, that isn't even the end of it because we also have additional bonuses weekly, monthly, annually. We can show you the profit program all printed out for you should you want to see all of the particulars. Not only do we pay really well in every week, but we also have additional perks in order to just motivate people and make people want to be excited about their job. All kinds of recognition, all kinds of camaraderie here, 100 years worth of training or more between our leader group here in this organization. But we also do free jewelry every month. We can earn up to $1,000 in free jewelry. The least expensive way to buy your jewelry is to become a rep. Because imagine if you could take advantage of all the programs I just mentioned, the sale and the hostess program, but then you also were getting at least 30% back every week. It's like the friends and family discount. It's really super cool. Sometimes I forget to mention this, and I think it's one of our greatest assets, is that we do not believe in leading with the stick. We lead with the carrot. So we do not have minimums. There are absolutely no minimums here at Park Lane. We do not feel that people should be under stress when they're doing a side hustle like this. So if you want to achieve, you do it on your own goals. You do it because maybe you want to drive a Mercedes, or maybe you want to earn one of the 2 trips we offer a year, or maybe you want to get that free jewelry that I just talked about earlier, or maybe there's a certain amount of money you want to make. But having to do it or having to do a certain amount and you're going to lose your title or lose your place here at Park Lane, no, absolutely. We do not believe in that. And the last question that Janine would ask me if she was here was, why now? Now, as I get older, I do feel that one of the things I want to do is put out into the universe and share with society some of the really good things that I've learned along the way, from studying, from being, taking personal development seriously, all that great stuff. And there is a success principle out there that successful people don't overthink things. They do what they labeled it lean in. Successful people, they look at the pros, they look at the cons, and they don't do anything really crazy like jump off a cliff. But if they look at something like this and they say, here's what I have to gain, here's what I have to lose, by the way, nothing. Why would I not try it? What successful people don't do is overthink. And I used to be an overthinker, so this is why I feel so strongly about this. I remember saying to my husband, what if nobody buys any jewelry from me? And he goes, well, I'll tell you what, if you don't try this, no one's going to buy any jewelry from you. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that is so simple and so true. So don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect time, because there never is an exactly perfect time. Lean in and try us out now. That being said, we have an amazing deal. For $99, you can choose $500 worth of jewelry. If somebody on my team would put in the comments if they're doing an additional right now, please put that in there, because I think it's another an additional $100 free, but I'm not exactly positively sure. But if you decide to join as a result of tonight's video, I personally will give you an extra $100 if Park Lane's not doing it. But for $99, you get to pick $500, maybe $600 worth of jewelry. That in itself is a great deal. That $99 is obviously a tax write-off. And that $99 also covers all the online stuff that you need in order to get started. And like the forms, should you choose to print out anything, whatever, you get total access to the back office at Park Lane. You get total access to your own personal website. So you can literally just give people your website. They click on it, they can buy, and the pay is going to show up in your account. And you get access to all of the tools that I personally pay for, so that we can have basically a copy and paste business here online. And we just give you access to all that. So you literally could be making money by next week. Now, the number one thing that we recommend, and I really think it's important that you don't fight us on this, is the very most powerful, best way to get started is to have your own show. It can be online. It can be on Facebook. It can be a messenger party, okay? Which means like a bunch of people in your messenger group are texting. It can be in person. It can be whatever you're comfortable with. But when you do this show, the individual who invited you tonight will do your show. But you're the one who's going to get paid. Not only that, but you're going to get that hostess stuff I talked about. So not only the $500, but you will get additional product. It's a wonderful way for the person that invited you tonight to transition the people that you invite into, in a very non-threatening, fun, congratulatory way, make sure that they know that you are their jewelry person now. So I hope you decide to join us. I hope you decide to lean in. We have an awful lot of fun here. And please check at the top of the Grace and Grit Studio page, not the business page, but the group, or check with the person who invited you. They're going to give you like a jewelry survey to fill out. And this jewelry survey is going to serve as your entry into winning free jewelry from me tonight. So somebody's going to win free jewelry just for filling out that Google form and having come here. Let me know if you have any additional questions. Put them on the Google form. I'll be sure to get in touch with you. And thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you. And I hope to get to know you way better because you decide to give us a try. Bye, everybody.